guys, welcome to the first episode of the Brooke and Brooke show. I'm your host, Brooke.
I'm your other host, Brooke.
And today we're here with Redwood's one and only Miss Bardonnex.
Hello.
How's your day going, Miss B?
It's going good. It's actually really good. Other than I had to run from the Rotary all the way here to get this going, but other than that, I'm good.
That's a mission.
It's a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel sorry for everybody now. I get it.
Okay, so for our first question, when did your dance journey begin? Like, how did it start?
All right, my dance journey began when I was 3 years old. My mom put me in dance in the old tap and ballet back in the day because I was actually born without hip sockets.
Oh.
So I had to wear a body cast all the way up past my waist for the first 2 years of my life. So I didn't walk. I kind of scooted on my arms. And so the doctor back then, that's how your hip sockets formed back then. I'm sure there's a new way now. And so they had me, after I got out of the body cast, the doctor recommended that I stretch all the time. So my mom put me in these dance classes a couple days a week, and that's how it all started. Later, I danced at the Visalia Dance Center, and then mostly all the way through danced. That was in high school, and I was a cheerleader, actually a song leader. They don't even have those here anymore. And then kept on going.
Very nice. And how long have you taught at Redwood?
So I've been at Redwood. This is my 20th year, and I started teaching dance and PE. And then as the dance program started to grow, Mrs. Lapp was already here. And as the dance program started to grow, I taught one period less of PE because I had 3 periods of dance, 2 periods of PE. And then it went down to 1 period of PE, and then it went full-time dance. And it's been that way for quite a while.
Okay, so tell us about the dance program and like how you are involved in it.
Well, so I teach 2 intro classes, 2 intermediate classes, and I also teach international. Mrs. Lapp teaches 1 intro, 1 intermediate, advanced, hip hop, and the dance team. So she teaches all 5 different. And when I started, she was already here. She had been here for a few years before me when I started here, and we've been together ever since. We both collaborate on our shows every year, so it's really nice because there's 2 of us to bounce off ideas for the following year. Like, we're already prepping what's the idea for next year so we can get started with ideas and different things that we do. But it's mostly we both are involved in all aspects of it, you know, getting the show together, everything, music, all of it. We kind of work together.
Okay, so since you've been teaching for 20 years?
Yes.
What has been like the biggest like accomplishment that you've experienced here?
So since I started, I would say the biggest accomplishment is creating international. It wasn't a thing when I first got here. Missy Yavasil, who was the originator of putting the dance program together and had Mrs. Lapp come in and start teaching, we decided we needed a new section. And initially it was going to be a cultural class. It was going to be like a folklorico dance type class, everything. But as the kids signed up, the makeup of the class was a little different than what we thought it was going to be. So it's kind of changed into it and evolved into a whole different thing. And it's kind of cool. We have a lot of kids that want to join and a lot of kids in the class. So I would say that would be the biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, and I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but how do you and Miss Lapp get like really, really ready for the dance show?
Okay, so we have a collaboration day. First, we come up with the theme. We like to do a theme. Some of the other schools just give it a title, and that way they can put anything they want, you know, in the show, which is great. Somehow, Mrs. Lapp and I tend to work a little better if we have a theme. And so once we get the theme, we take a day at the beginning of the year and we sit down together. And so, for example, for this year, our show is Super Bowl halftimes. So we sat down and we looked up all the halftime shows for every year. And then right away, some of them stand out, like this is perfect for hip hop. This one's perfect for advanced. This one's perfect for dance force. We divide those up right away. And then we go back through and we start picking, intermediate needs 2. Which 2 diversify them a little bit. Like one is one type of dance and the other is something else that we can do. And so we start going through and we divide up all of that. Then from there, once we've divided up all the music that goes through our theme, it's pretty much artists and years. Once we do that, then we turn around and start collecting music. Once we start collecting music, then we have to edit our music, and we edit all of our music. So it's super time consuming. And once we do that, then we can start coming up with choreography. Once your music's all together, the choreography kind of comes to you from there, and we create all our choreography for all our classes from that point. And then you have to think of lighting somewhere back in the process, which is right now, October-ish, November-ish. We start ordering costumes. It's just a whole process to prep for the show. Tons of before work. It's always a super big relief when we go in the theater and start practicing, because that means
It's
all
happening.
that, and all that back work is done. All the big stuff is all over with. All the little things that just, it's not as easy as just going in and making up a dance. So, yeah, we go back.
And the big question everyone is wondering is, how do you teachers feel about not having a dance room?
Okay, well, if I'm honest, I'm super grateful that we have these theaters to go into. Super grateful that that they're allowing us to do that. But without a dance room, it's super hard, because you have that one space with the mirrors. You guys get to see yourselves doing these moves, and sometimes you're like, well, I'm not doing this right, clearly. And it's easier for you to come back and ask us, questions when you're in there. We can see better. We're used to the dance room. So it's kind of now it's a struggle, because we are having to move to so many different locations. In the beginning, we kind of thought it was a fun adventure.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. It was super fun. Let's try this. Let's do that. And now it's, it's a lot. It would be a lot better, I think, for you guys and for us, to have the dance room back, because it's a space that we're used to, and everything's there. Mirrors, we can pull out ballet bars, all of which we can't do when we're rotating spaces.
Like in the hallway.
Yes,
Yeah.
when we're in the hallway, the
Famous
sweaty hallway.
Yep. And have you heard of an idea of when we're getting the dance rooms back?
Well, we were told when we come back in January that the dance room would be ready. It's supposed to be ready before the rest of the gym is ready. And that's the first thing they're wanting to have done. I don't know the update on that. That's just what everybody's being told. So we're hoping and praying that that is what happens, because that would be perfect for dance show preparation, because second semester is full on prep for the show, and you know how important it is to have your space. But I mean, we'll do what we have to do, and we'll figure it out and try to stay positive about it. But I do think it would be a whole lot better if we could be in there.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys know. You guys
yeah,
are in class.
Yeah. It's a mission to get all the way to Vista and then walk all the way back.
But you know what? Everybody else that's at Vista has to do it. So
Yeah.
that's what I keep trying to say when I walked
True.
over.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not that bad. This is not
Everyone
that
does
bad.
it.
Last question. How do you is there anything else you would like to add about the dance program, that you want everybody else to know?
Well, it's our dance program has been around for 23 years. I think something that people probably don't know is when it started 23 years ago, Mrs. Lapp was the only dance teacher in the whole district. So all the Golden West kids who danced, all the Whitney kids, and all the El Diamante kids that danced, all came to Redwood for a block period, 01. And they had a dance team here, and they'd take it. So throughout the day, if you were at Whitney or Golden West, you would drive over for intro or intermediate or advanced. You'd come over and take dance class here, and then you had to get back to your campus, which was not ideal. And that went for several years. And she always stayed block schedule for 01. Then El Diamante got a dance program. And so they kept their El Diamante kids, but the other two schools still came here. Eventually Golden West got one. And last but not least, Mount Whitney got a dance program. And so then all the dance teams were able to be at their own schools. Currently, we're the only school that does have a hip-hop class during the day. There is an after-school program at most of them.
Yeah.
But during the day, we are the only ones that have hip-hop and international. But next year, Mount Whitney is going to be adding both Hip Hop and
Really?
International. I know the first
That's
one's.
exciting.
I know it is
Yeah,
exciting. I think it's really cool for the other schools to come up with stuff too.
Yeah.
But we've been around for a long time. We have the largest program in the district, which is really fun for us to say. Hopefully, it's super fun. But it's a lot of fun. Mrs. Lapp and I both really enjoy our jobs and what we do, and trying to come up with new stuff all the time is super exciting. COVID was a little bit of work and a little bit of a struggle and challenge, and I felt like last year was somewhat of a rebuilding year. But this year, it truly feels like we're back. But the only struggle is the dance room.
Yeah.
But the dance.
We really enjoy your class.
Oh, I'm
it
so
is.
glad. We have so much fun.
Yeah.
The Brookes Squared is always fun to be in.
Yes. Well, thank you, Miss V, and thank you everyone for watching the first episode of the Brooke and Brooke show. Thank you.
Thank you.